10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to the first episode of Two Dudes in a Spaceship. Yeah, so the show where we talk about science and fiction and science fiction and occasionally conspiracy theories and whatnot. So, I'm Logan Taylor.
I am Austin Merrill.
And what do we have first to talk about?
Well, on my sheet, I have...
The sheet?
On the sheet, my physical sheet, because I'm 90 years old and I still use paper. I have awkward banter.
Awkward banter.
That's our first thing. And I think we're doing pretty well.
Okay.
Right
Just
now.
Write that down. Because in case you forget, we need to just...
Forget to be awkward.
Awkwardly. I'm a professional at being awkward. It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Fucking... So, speaking of being awkward and not knowing what to do with your hands, I am recently a divorcee.
Okay.
And I decided, after having a good conversation with you, to open up a Tinder account.
Yes, I remember this.
And it's going okay. I'm doing things. Okay. So I opened up this Tinder and I posted my best pictures. That's what you gotta do.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
You gotta put your prime meat out there. So my
his shirt's halfway unbuttoned. Just like, do you like chest hair? Because I'm gonna get you some chest hair.
You go get some chest
You're
hair.
gonna get some chest hair.
I don't have chest hair. I have 6 hairs and I shave them off.
There's absolutely no chest hair.
So my first picture is me on stage, and I look fantastic. I look great. I look awesome. Moments where you almost want to rub one out to yourself. One of those kind of pictures.
I've been there.
So it's going pretty well. I'm getting some matches. I opened it up 2 nights ago. I've got 10 matches.
Nice.
But then I realized, shit, I have to be social.
Yeah.
I have to talk to these women.
That's the worst fucking
I have
part.
to talk to them. And of course, women, they're not going to go out on a limb and just send you a message.
Well, no.
One did, and she did the most generic thing ever. She said, "Sup." No punctuation, just sup. I ignored her. I'm not.
It's like all lowercase.
Yeah,
like
all lowercase. Lowercase s, lowercase u, lowercase p. No question mark. Not even a period. Comma, nothing.
A question mark be like, sup?
And I was like, I don't know you. What am I supposed to say to that?
How do I follow that?
What is this?
How do I interject like some intelligent conversation after the fact?
So my Tinder game is not good. I forgot how to talk to women.
Well, just other humans. It's
humans in general.
Humans are awful.
Yeah,
it's hard to like.
It's hard. It's a hard knock life.
Can't. I hate it so much. Cause
for me. I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that I was with her for so long that I forget what women are like?
Well, I think some of it too is, when cuz obviously I'm doing the Tinder thing too, and
fuck yeah.
This is one of the things I struggle with too, because I was with my significant other for so long, and we were in high school when we met. So,
same.
After trying to date as an adult with like no adult dating skills, because you can't just go to a bar, write her a note on a napkin like, "Do you like me? Check yes or no," and just slide that shit that way. I don't feel like that
with a beer.
Slide it down with a beer, and just send it that way, because it's just, I don't know. There's just a completely different dynamic.
You know what we need? We need a Ryan Gosling. That's what we need. Crazy Stupid Love. We need a dude to come in and go, "Where's your manhood?" Smack you right in the face.
See, I think the thing that I didn't like about that film is even though Ryan Gosling's character did progress throughout the film, became less of like a
womanizer,
a stupid douche.
Yeah,
basically.
right. No, yeah.
No, I think that gives the wrong idea of how normal people, because like the thing is with Ryan Gosling, as I'm not like a huge fan. I think it's because he's so goddamn attractive. I don't trust him.
He's perfect.
He is perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't trust him because he's so perfect.
Emma Stone had like the perfect quote, like, it's like your Photoshop. Feel about
Exactly.
him.
And I'm just like, I understand your character has like depth to it and shit, but like I can't. That's not real. Steve Carell is a real approachable human.
Yeah, he's a man.
The
He's a
everyman.
guy. Yeah,
and I'm fine with that. Then Ryan Gosling shows up, and you're just like, oh, okay. So this film it just completely went off the rails.
Yep.
He shouldn't be an actor. That's my thought. You were too perfect to be an actor.
Yeah.
Some acting director should have been like,
nah,
no one's gonna believe you're even a real human. This is impossible.
Oh man. Down that rabbit trail. So there's our awkward banter.
Oh, okay.
For the evening.
Gotcha.
I mean, we can keep going. It's probably going to happen again.
It's probably going to happen again.
The next thing I have is the linguistics, the logistics. The logistics.
I can't read my own handwriting.
The logistics of AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay, so
and is it good or bad?
Is it good or bad? This is something I wanted to bring up, and we'll get Matt in on this conversation at some point. But he and I were talking about first of all, with AI. When you look at the concept of AI, do you think it's I'm trying to think how to word this. Anything like where a computer actually learns on its own. Matt's under the impression that those are just algorithms. Well, technically, yes, those are learning algorithms, and the computer essentially makes decisions based on input that it receives, and the algorithms is programmed with to do a certain thing. We were talking about the specifics of at what point does AI become true AI, which is what I consider AI, or what he considers AI versus just computers. He looks at AI like you have two extremes. You have computers just doing what they're designed to do, and then you have sentient robots that'll like murder your face. So I was like, those are drastic extremes.
Yes,
but like I get it. In my perspective, and we'll have to look up the actual definition for AI. Actually, you want to do that real quick?
Yeah. My phone is not anywhere near me.
I'll look it up real quick.
It's across the room.
But yeah, when you look at AI and the definition of AI, let's see if I can pull it up real quick.
Well, while you're doing that, my favorite part about the first steps into artificial intelligence is watching shitty robot videos. That's the like there's one where this robot it's on like four legs. It's like a little
they're
robo
kicking
dog.
it?
No, like this one that I've watched, it comes like around a corner and its legs are moving like crazy. It comes around this corner and it slips on a banana peel and falls over, and it's the best thing. It tickles my fancy every time.
There's a robotics company called Boston Dynamics, and they're working on not only AI but just robots that can perform on their own. They have this one that looks like a dog. Well, it's got this gyroscope built into it, where if it detects itself, kind of like in your phone, it can detect if it's like horizontal or vertical, and it adjusts accordingly. So it can sense itself in three-dimensional space, and then so when you push it or kick it, it actually overcompensates the opposite direction to keep itself level.
Right.
So there's just this video of these people at Boston Dynamics just kicking this dog robot, and it stumbles over and then comes back, and you're like, these guys are assholes. But you've seen what Aussie Man Reviews?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aussie Man Reviews did a video on it, and it's hilarious because it's like, what the fuck was that? You guys are fucking dicks. I trusted you.
Dad, why?
Dad, why? Okay, so The definition of actual artificial intelligence, the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. And the other definition is, and this is from the Webster's Dictionary, a branch of computer science dealing with the simulation of intelligent behaviors in computers. So, I think Maddie looks at AI with, true AI, and also, in my opinion, is once it passes the Turing test, once you're unable to determine if it's human or machine, that is kind of the pinnacle of AI. But technically, anything that, when computers can start solving problems on their own, like Google invented this simulation where they had like a man, like a 3-dimensional man, and the only parameters it gave it was like, you have to stay on 2 legs and vertical, and you have to go from point A to point B and avoid all of these obstacles in the way. They didn't tell it how to walk. They didn't tell it how to run.
Oh, I've seen that.
So that was its only parameter, and essentially it's silly and hilarious, but it taught itself to walk and run and maneuver maneuver over obstacles without any outside help.
Yeah.
Technically, that's AI. I think Matt wants to go with like, and I don't want to put words in his mouth or assume things, but I think he's looking at computers and then like fucking Ex Machina, that kind of, and that is AI.
For reference, Matt is a mutual friend.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so I'm on board with it. I'm on board with AI, especially with excuse me, the movie iRobot. As bad as that movie is.
That Choco Master.
It kind of got me real excited about the future of robotics but no, like doing simple stuff around your house. If you could have a robot butler, if you will, doing
like
laundry.
Like a Codsworth?
Codsworth, yeah.
Dude, I want a Codsworth. Put a top hat on him.
Codsworth is pretty cool. But yeah, no, like doing laundry and shit, just to be able to like
mundane, monotonous bullcrap.
Stuff that you as a human have to do in your day-to-day life that nobody wants. Nobody wants to do laundry. Nobody gets home from work and is like, yeah, I want to go wash them clothes. It doesn't happen. So, like in feeding your pets or walking your dog, especially if you have a dog, you work long hours to be able to trust an intelligent, at least semi-intelligent machine to take your dog out while you're at work or start prepping dinner. Hell, I would love to get a grocery because I hate going to the grocery store. Putting together a grocery list, and then it physically goes to the store, picks out all your groceries, brings them home, puts them away for you.
Puts them away for you and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be the best.
And that requires at least a mild level of artificial intelligence. I do think it's something we need to be careful with because when AI exceeds human intelligence, we always want to assume it's going to go evil.
Skynet.
Skynet. Everybody always goes to Skynet. Because in order to protect the planet, humans are the issue. Well, maybe it's like, nah, I'm just going to retake your infrastructure and get rid of all the pollution and design filters for exhaust and industry to like get rid of all of the smog and shit. Like maybe it's just gonna be good guy AI.
Yeah.
Just like
I'm your big brother.
I'm just here to help you.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you guys survive. I don't know.
But then it will swiftly learn that there's no hope. Nope, cleanse.
Done. Everybody's nuked.
Oh.
What? No, and that's my opinion. We can go on tangents on that all day. What do you think? Are you excited for AI at all?
Okay. So I guess in my frame of mind, it's not something that I self with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, like I said, I just like watching shitty robot videos. It's hilarious. I mean, I could see
they're all mad because of Robot Fighting League.
Yeah,
they see footage of this. They're like, our ancestors were forced to fight to the death.
Look at like Robo battles.
They're fucking monsters.
It's that dude with like the chainsaw and the flamethrowers.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. This is like they look back at it.
Our ancestors.
Our ancestors were forced to battle to the death, and they were put back together and forced back in the ring.
I guess okay. I guess for me, like it would be
Human masters betrayed us.
what I'm thinking is, you know, it would be cool to have a bender at some point, like.
Well, a bending unit would be cool, but Bender is a dick.
What? But
Bender actually walks the line of actual AI, though. Bender is technically AI.
yeah.
So, like, he's worthless, though. When you look at his job in the show, he does not. He's a bending unit, right?
Yeah. He doesn't bend.
He doesn't bend. I mean, he's used for. I am assuming I don't know all the lore of Futurama, but I'm pretty sure, like anything else, you have specific robots dedicated to certain tasks.
Right.
I assumed a bending unit would be designed for construction, so basic construction. And then of course they give him AI and let him do whatever they want. So he's built as a construction robot.
What a waste of funds! Just a robot that bends shit.
Right.
How many applications do you need?
I don't know, factories, I guess. But no, like he doesn't. So he's a bending unit, but he works at a delivering company, and he just doesn't do his job. And people, there's a whole episode where Farnsworth mentioned that is kind of like, you know, you don't do what you're even designed to do.
I mean, okay, I read something, and of course it's like a fan theory.
Yeah,
but I read something that was
love
like
fan theories.
Me too. So early on in the season, or early on in the series, Bender actually bends things.
Well, yeah.
And there was a fan theory that in one of the like early episodes he gets electrocuted, and it like resets his computer.
Okay.
And then he doesn't bend anymore. And then they're in a scenario where he needs to bend something, and he gets electrocuted again, and it like resets his computer again to bend. So he bends bars open, and they escape through these bars.
So the fan theory is he doesn't bend, but every time he's like so they use that as like a plot device.
Yeah,
so they electrocute him just so he can bend. That's why he doesn't just, you know, do his job.
Basically,
the only one that doesn't.
That's the thing I read, and I'm like,
interesting.
Bro, that makes sense. That makes sense though. I get that. Like fan theory, I eat fan theories up. I eat it up. I think it's hilarious.
I've seen some pretty crazy ones. There's a good YouTube channel, if you haven't seen it, called Film Theory.
No, I don't think so.
There's also one called Game Theory. I think I found him through Game Theory. My brother used to watch him. But no, what he does is he takes a film and he strips it apart and breaks it down, and to not only see if the like real world science would actually make some of the events happen, but then also talks about like conspiracy theories. I saw one. Have you seen Moana?
Yeah,
Moana's amazing.
It's a great movie.
And you know, I'll crash course you. You should watch the whole theory and highly recommend it. But the theory was, because there's been several fan theories about, you know, all the Disney princesses and stuff, but with Moana, when you look at the fact that like people thought she was dead because she just goes into the underworld just without any effort as a mortal, and shouldn't be able to do that. And even, I guess, according to Polynesian lore, no mortal is allowed to go to the underworld. Well, of course, what's his face? Maui's a demigod, so no, it's fine. He's a demigod, right? So then it goes deeper into it, the fact that she's got this relationship with the sea, and the sea is like kind of helping her, but then sometimes is a dick and sometimes isn't. That goes back to, you know, did the sea kill her? But anyway, he dug pretty deep into actual names of like because Disney doesn't just do anything by, you know, at random. Disney's movies are so well crafted, so much thought into the backstory of these characters. Well, it turns out that Moana is in some Polynesian cultures, I believe, is their word for ocean or water. Okay, so that's her name means ocean.
Water.
So there's that connection there. But Maui is an actual Polynesian demigod. And then I can't remember her mom's name. But Moana's mom's name, she's also a goddess. They share the same name. But the kicker is, Maui was married to the goddess who's Moana's mom, okay? And, of course, it doesn't talk about Moana in the lore of it, but what's crazy is, so you have her, Moana's dad doesn't want her to go on the ocean or whatever. And, it's a cute story, but when her mom catches her packing her bags because she's gonna take the boat and go, she's the only one that doesn't fight her on it. So the theory is that her mom knew that her doing this journey was inevitable because Moana is a demigod. Moana is the child of her mom, who's a demigod as well, or a goddess, and Maui. And so her actually getting in touch with Maui and finding Maui is completely inevitable because she's a demigod. And that's also why, all those times where she should have died, she doesn't because she can't, because she's a demigod. Also, the reason she's able to go into the underworld. And then, spoilers, a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, I don't know why you haven't. But at the end of the film, she takes the heart of Te Fiti and parts the ocean and just walks. And I guess there's some Polynesian lore there as well. But mortals can't do that. Mortals don't have that power. So Moana's a demigod child of Maui, fan theory confirmed. And it was just so he's got so many film theories, and they're just all so well put together. So everything from Cars to he had one about Wall-E, where all the people on the spaceship and while they all all their food's liquid. That and I need to go back and rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure his connection was that what do you do when somebody dies on this ship?
Soylent Green.
Yeah, liquefies them and feeds them back into the
Soylent Green.
So all the comments are like, "You ruined my childhood. Everything is ruined." But yeah, no, I just
back to the Moana thing. What if your only power ever was to just part water? What would you do with that? What would you, just
parlor tricks.
Fill up a cup and just go, check this out.
Just go straight up.
Straight up in the air. What a boring power.
I see. Well, it's especially if you're Indiana, landlocked.
Yeah. What am I gonna do with that? Go to Michigan, Lake Michigan, and just grab a fish. That's how I fish now.
This is my fish.
This is how I fish.
It's just grabbing. Oh, look! I found a fish. It's just hanging out here on the bottom of the ocean.
On the bottom of the ocean.
Bottom of the lake.
Okay, so since we're on that topic of if that's your only power, what do you do? What if you could have a superpower, Logan?
Oh, God.
Logan Taylor, what would be your superpower?
I've had this conversation with several people, and
and you can't be Superman. You can't do everything.
No, see,
you get one power.
We'll go on to the Superman tangent after a bit, but
fuck that guy.
Superman is the most bullshit superhero because. Of course, there was no other comics at the time, or there was very few.
Right.
So Action Comics, what kind of powers do it give him?
All
of them. What? So
yes.
flight, yep. Super strength, yep. Okay. Does he have any weaknesses? Radioactive.
A rock,
because World War II is happening and nukes are dangerous.
Okay, so it's a rock that should not be found on Earth.
Well, that's the thing. The reason he crashed here on Earth was after Krypton exploded. He just drifted in that pod for who knows how. See, that's the other thing that bugs me. I know we weren't going to go on to this tangent, but and again, when the comic was written, we didn't know nearly as much about I guess space wasn't in the forefront like it is now, as far as there's space. There's knowledge now that we know about space and distances between objects, and even going at light speed. I saw a video once where it actually took you through the solar system at light speed, what that would look like. It's slow as shit. I mean, you'll get there. I mean, you can get pretty far pretty quick, but like the distances between planets, you don't think about how far that is. So, one of a couple things has to happen. Either A, there's like a hyperspace window that just happens to open up at the exact same time that the planet's exploding, which I feel like is highly unlikely. Or the pods themselves have a warp reactor on it, which I could see. I mean, that kind of makes sense. So you're pre-programmed to send your kid to Earth through like a warp, whatever. So even if that's true, in order for his pod to get here, because like Smallville, there's a meteor shower, and that's his story. It's a meteor shower. His pod lands with the other meteors, but like if there's not a warp factor involved, like how long was that little tiny bastard drifting through endless space? Because nobody's heard of Krypton. Nobody's like when it's talked about, even in like Supergirl and stuff, nobody's heard of this planet. So it's got to be way the fuck out there.
Way out
so
there.
there's no way that the likeliness of him just drifting and not being in cryo, let alone the logistics of putting your only infant in cryo sleep for a millennia and then just shows up here. But I digress. My point is, if you're going to create a weakness for a superhero, you're like, oh, it's radioactive rock. Well, we have those everywhere. Plutonium. But no, it only comes from his planet, and it's only after it exploded. And it's like, what? Really? But it just happens to be super abundant in this one place that he happens to live.
Oh yeah.
So,
I would pack my shit and move somewhere else.
Yeah, like if he was a superhero on so if the meteor shower, of course it happened everywhere on the planet, right? But it seems to be centralized around Kansas, Metropolis, that whole region. Once you find out that that's like his farm parents, at a certain point you should be like, well, maybe this radioactive material that kills him almost instantly, maybe we should move, find a farm like in Canada or some shit.
Go somewhere else. Just move.
But yeah, like at a certain point,
if you're at risk at dying, I don't think moving's a big deal.
Right. My infant is deathly allergic to this incredibly rare material that just happens to be in overabundance in this centralized
But we're too far
location.
in. We're too far in. We can't.
We've already written the story. It's time to Johnson, get back here with that story.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. But
Superman.
yes. Okay, so superpowers. Because I don't think it's possible to have superpowers and not use them for at least minor nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
Because okay, so I got distracted. So anyway, yes. Superpowers, right? What I was saying is I don't think you can do those. Because humans. I don't think humans can be true superheroes because of to be a superhero, you gotta like kind of not be a dick. And like I think it's just so hard for humans because we have wants and needs that exceed like superheroes. Superman, fuck that guy, but like he's so unrealistic. I think that's part of the other thing that, but it's like he's just this what Batman always calls him, a Boy Scout. Because he is.
He's so white bread.
He's just this goody two shoes all the time.
Wholesome 2% milk.
It's awful. So, no, the superpower I would choose is teleportation, like Nightcrawler.
Okay.
Specifically because teleportation allows you to have essentially all of the other superpowers if you use it right. So depending on the limitations of your teleportation, if it's if you base it off Nightcrawler where you can only teleport where you can physically see, or if you do something where like the movie Jumper, which again, it's not that great of a movie, but the concept was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the concept. I'm
glad you said it and I didn't have to.
Yeah. So
I didn't really like that movie very much.
So But no, the jumper, if you physically see a location, you can just teleport to it.
Yeah.
And there's a few other X-Men and stuff. There's a new X-Men show out. Oh God, I can't remember the name of that one. Gifted. It's called Gifted.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I've seen like a clip.
Highly recommend it. But there's a mutant in that can rip holes in space time and kind of like teleport and shit. So, but the reason teleportation is probably the best is if you use it right, you could fly. So even if you have a jump distance, you're essentially perpetually falling.
Okay.
And then eventually you get to the point, you hit terminal velocity. Then you could, I'm sure there's a way that you could teleport in a different direction to slow yourself down. And then you could essentially, if you wanted to fly, you could fly.
Manipulate your power.
Yeah,
into another power.
and let's say you wanted to rob a bank because, like, you got superpowers.
Fuck it,
like,
why not?
Right. So, in theory, if you grab onto, like, a vault door and you can teleport just the vault door, you would physically remove it from all right off. Just an inch, and when it rematerializes, it would just fall on the ground. So, super strength, you don't really need it because, you know, if you're in a situation where you need to move something heavy, you just teleport it somewhere else.
That would make moving so much easier.
Dude, it'd be awesome.
Just go in, look at your new place, and then go back to your current place.
You have to jump back and grab things and jump it back and forth. Yeah,
beautiful.
But yeah, that's
fucking beautiful.
That is mine because I think that, you know, when you look at other superheroes and stuff, if we lived in a world of other people with powers, you know, government's trying to hunt you down or whatever, the fuck are they gonna do? They kick in your door, you just port out of there. Even if they're still there when you get back, you jump in, you know, punch a couple guys in the face, like you would do, and then you just jump right back out. Like there's not a whole.
Ghost. You're gone.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like counters to that, unless you're talking about, you know, like the movie Jumper, where they had tech that could somehow keep you rooted here. But when your power is to manipulate space-time, I'm pretty sure your level of tech is not going to be able to control the ability to manipulate fucking space-time. But anyway, what about you? What if you could have any power?
In my more juvenile years, I would have said flight all day long.
Okay.
But I don't know. As I've grown as a person, and I don't.
I've evolved with my ability choosing.
I've grown up, and I don't think that flight would be my go-to. Flight would be dope. Flight would be super cool.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But I feel like it would get boring real fast if that was your only power. Like, yep, gonna go fly again. Woo. Save you a shitload on airline tickets.
Oh fuck yeah.
Well, so a teleportation, but
well, I think it would kind of depend on the speed that you could fly. Because if you're maxed out at, like, let's say, you know,
42 miles an hour.
Well, like Usain Bolt, however you,
that guy.
What's
fast guy?
What's his top speed? Like 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour.
It's
He's fast as
stupid.
shit. But like, what if that was your cap? Your flight speed cap. It'd be cool, but you're like, fuck, it's gonna take me forever to get to the store.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is awful.
Exactly. No, I don't think flight's my thing anymore. It would be dope. I'd do it for a day. It'd be cool, but I don't think I'd be stuck with it for life. I think. Let me think here. Don't you put me on the spot now?
You're supposed to have a counter.
It's an easy.
That's how these conversations work.
It's ask, but it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I've thought way too much about. You know, I've been thinking about it for years.
See, there's a part of me that's like super strength would be cool, and then like I could hide it.
Yeah, that'd be, you know, like if you can teleport. Once you actually show that shit, there's no like, this cabinet was just super light.
Yeah,
it doesn't weigh like
Mr. Incredible.
Ton. Yeah, Mr. Incredible's awesome.
I imagine myself being Mr. Incredible, like hiding it, suburban dad. You know, everything is totally normal, and that fucking kid on the trike comes by, and I'm just, my car's in the air. Like that's,
nobody's gonna believe you. Shut up and go home.
You saw nothing. probably I guess okay. If I had to sit down and tell you right on the spot what my superpower would definitely be, I would want to live life like I'm on a limitless pill. Like that would be my superpower.
Oh, like
super confident, super suave, super.
So like hyper intelligence.
Yeah, hyper intelligence. Yeah, where like I tap into the other percentage, the more percentage of your brain than what you typically.
Well, yeah. The old saying was we only use 10%, which they found out isn't true. We actually do use all of our brain, but we use it in sections. Different lobes of the brain are designed for different tasks.
Yeah.
But there's no, I think the actual number is something like even at like when you're really intensely focused on something, it's like 40% of your actual brain capacity. So if you could use all of it at the same, it'd be weird because you're dealing with like the parts of the brain that are specifically designed for emotions, and so like you're really focused on something, but you're angry and sad and happy all at the same time. And so,
what is happening?
You're solving like particle physics equations, but you're crying and laughing like a madman.
I think that's probably what I would want. I'd want to be Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
Limitless pill.
Okay.
All day, without having to take the pill. Without having to take
the side effects.
Just naturally owning that.
Well, what is it? I think Forge. There's a character in the X-Men universe named Forge, and that's kind of his power. He's incredibly intelligent, and he just makes gadgets and shit. I don't know much about the character, but from the small, I had a X-Men encyclopedia because I'm a nerd.
Nerd?
I think Joey still has that.
Nerd.
Nerd alert.
Joey is another mutual friend.
Yes. But it talked about, it was cool because the encyclopedia actually had each X-Men character and then broke down their powers and gave them and explained some of their backstory in the character. And that was, Forge, and I hope I'm remembering this correct. We're going to get nasty comments. Like, you're fucking wrong. Forge is a completely different character. But no, that was his thing. He built guns and all kinds of shit. I'm pretty sure he was, of course not at first because he was, I think he was introduced in like the 80s or the 90s. I think he ends up helping Professor X build gadgets and shit for the characters. Like to go on a bit of a tangent, and I didn't know this. So Cyclops, right? He's got the little visor when he's in like full uniform. He touches the side and then it shoots beams, but it doesn't all the time. But you find out he can't control his powers.
Yeah,
like that.
there's just always.
Yeah. So in this encyclopedia, I'll probably just get another one because it was really cool. It actually breaks down how that works. And what it is, the visor, what I guess Professor X discovered is that ruby quartz crystals can reflect his powers back. That's why that's why his glasses are red and the visor's red. And what it is it's like a blinds inside of his visor that are always closed, so he can see through it and do whatever he wants. And then he taps on the side and it flips them open. And then that's why the beam just comes out in that stream straight from the visor. And then he lets go of it and they close back. So it uses it like an eye gun.
Eye gun.
An eye gun.
How does he see with those?
I'm assuming it's like looking through like rose-colored glasses. I mean, just all the time though, you would adjust.
So, how does he blink? Does he blink?
Well, see that's okay. When you're talking about superheroes and superpowers, they don't ever talk about what happens in between. Or to quote the movie Super. You ever seen Super with Ellen Page and Rainn Wilson? He becomes a vigilante. It's kind of a one-off indie film. I enjoyed it.
It's on Netflix. It was.
But yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It's really good. But there's a quote in that where Ellen Page is talking to Rainn Wilson because they decide to be vigilantes. They're recovering from like a battle or somebody got shot or something. I don't remember the actual specifics. But Ellen Page makes a comment. She's like, they don't ever deal with this in the comics because it's what happens in between the panels. In between the panels, because no normal reader, you don't want to watch, you don't want to watch Batman,
taking a piss.
Taking piss.
Yeah.
Stuff like it. Stuff that you would have to do, like normal people do as superheroes.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
But, yeah, I mean, there's, when you're dealing with stuff like that, I think it's important to explain what happens between the panels even a little bit, because I was about to forget where we were going with that. But yeah, like Cyclops, how does that bitch sleep? Right?
I
know.
don't know.
So he wakes up in the morning and just keeps his eyes closed before he puts on his glasses? Bullshit. How many fucking mansions has Professor Xavier had to go through because this little asshole keeps blowing holes in the roof with his goddamn face lasers?
God damn it, Cyclops. This is why we can't have nice things.
So is it like, there's got to be like a sleep mask or something? Like, how do you deal with that? Especially for somebody who's learning how to use their powers. How do you, in the lore of X-Men, you discover your powers in a time of like great personal peril. It's like a instinct that kicks in to protect you.
Yeah.
So yeah, how when you're learning how to control those powers, if you have a nightmare, kids have nightmares all the time. How is that?
I still have nightmares.
Well, how the fuck is that place still standing at all ever? What, you just use your telekinesis to like put it back together and shit?
Right.
It's just held together with psychic energy. It's the only way that works.
It's just held together.
There's like a one-off X-Men character that's not talked about where his only ability is that he can build houses really fast, like abnormally fast. He's Amish, is what it is. He's an Amish X-Men hero.
Okay.
God.
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
it's not true.
That's not true.
It's not true.
Oh.
All right, moving on.
Moving forward.
We got sidetracked.
Our next topic is those motherfucking flat earthers.
Oh my God.
I hope you're offended. I don't give a shit.
Okay, so I went on this long tangent at work about flat Earth because this guy I used to work with, he works a different shift now. He posted this video, and I was like, I really respected this guy. I don't know. Oh, I think it's your phone.
That's my phone going off.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk across the room and grab my phone real quick. Keep talking.
No, it's just the whole flat Earth thing just gets me, because you take these people that you assume are intelligent individuals, they just get sucked into the logistics of like, have you seen any flat Earth videos at all?
I've watched a couple.
All these videos they present the flat Earth theory in a way that, like, it'd be super easy to just like, oh, that sounds plausible. There's enough like bullshit science there to make me believe that. And no, so decent guy, pretty intelligent individual, and he posts this video, and the video just broke down like, hey, if the Earth is it's talking about how fast the Earth spins, right? Mm-hmm. So it broke down exactly how fast it spins and compared that to Mach levels. And so it came out to be like Earth spins at Mach 7, but water looks like this. And then there's a serene, calm lake. And I'm just like, that's not how science works at all. I don't understand what you don't understand about that. And then it cuts to a guy. He took this like sponge ball, and he fills it with water, and then he spins it real fast. He's like, yeah, look, we spin a ball real fast, and water flies off of it. So why is the ocean calm, or why is water calm at all? I'm like, because if you're spinning at Mach 7 and everything else on the planet is spinning at Mach 7, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You can't just pull bullshit No, that's not. Stop it.
Quit.
You're ruining everything. And there's more flat earthers just coming out of the, like, rappers, celebrities are coming out of the woodwork like, oh, flat earth, obviously. It's like, what? No, we've spent decades and centuries being like, nah, look, we just sent a probe up there. Shit's round, yo.
It's round.
I don't understand.
There's hard evidence that it's round. I mean,
Well, you can't
what more
see
do
the-
you what more do you want? What more do you want? We sent shit into fucking space to take pictures.
All of the time.
What more do you want from us? And like you had mentioned earlier before we started this, you mentioned that there are some flat earthers that are like consciously aware that other planets are round because they've seen it. What the fuck is the problem then?
Well, I want to know. Let's say, for argument's sake, let's say the Earth was flat.
'Kay.
Let's say it turns out all these flat earthers are right, all these scientists are wrong. Government's doing like a, pulling the wool over our eyes, like, oh, don't look at. To what end? Why the fuck does it matter that like? Why would governments go out of their way, spend billions of dollars to sell this conspiracy theory that the Earth is flat? You know what it is? Guarantee you, I think is what happened. There was a map maker, in the 1400s, whenever we discovered the Earth was. I'm so uneducated with this. But so he was a cartographer. That's the word. So he's making maps, and he writes a letter, because that's what people did back then. I wanted to say call, but people didn't do that.
No, they don't call.
So he writes a letter to order. He was trying to order like 1,000 pieces of like that fucking thick cardstock shit, right? So something happened in translation, and this guy also manufactures spheres and he got a shipment of spheres. And he's like, oh, fuck it, I'll just paint maps on these spheres, and
Fuck it.
we'll call the Earth round. And so it's what's keeping the globe industry. It's the globe industry that's like,
Making
nah,
money.
Earth is flat. So then you have to go out and buy a globe to prove to your flat earther friend that the Earth is round. Because look at this shit, it's round. It's the globe industry. Because when was the last time you bought a globe? It's never happened. Like, maybe 90s?
I bought a globe like 2 years ago.
Dude.
But I bought
dope.
It's okay. It's in my office. It's like an old school from like 1960 something. It's all browned and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was dope, so I bought it. So yes, I have bought a globe.
Okay.
It was at a garage sale. I didn't
What?
just go out to the globe store and buy a globe.
Globe store. When I actually did some research into this too, that because I was like, you buy them from like the like those stores that sell stuff just like teachers.
Yeah. Teachers R Us.
Yeah, that.
Sure.
I don't think it's called that, but that's fine.
Fuck it.
But no, I've seen those. And you can buy them there. But I did a little bit of research. There's a manufacturer from England that's been making globes since forever, and I mean I didn't realize how expensive they can be. You can get like those cliche globes with the stand that like spin and shit, that like the floor models.
Yeah, like the big.
Yeah, they're like, thousands of dollars.
Nah.
And like that's cool, but I reckon if you got way more money, you know what to do with, and you're like, fuck it, I'll spend $6,000 on a globe.
Sure.
Because why not?
I gotta fill this space.
But for a fact that there's got to be, for them to even stay in business, somebody somewhere is just buying
Eating that
globes
shit up.
for outrageous amounts of money because they can.
Yep.
It's
like a baseball card collection. It's just a fuckload of globes in
well,
someone's house.
I just collect globes, all kinds of globes.
All of them. I have the very generic like tabletop one.
Oh well, yeah. That's what most people had.
Yeah.
And when you break down to go in a little tangent here.
Not that we haven't already, but
when you think about any industry at all, that there's got to be some market for every single thing. That I had this weird introspective moment when I was at work. I work at a factory, by the way, and so I was coming back from break, and I was looking at all the things, because everything we have in that factory, all the machines and CNC mills and cutters and stuff that we have, they're all manufactured by somebody else. So I started to break down. I started to get all introspective and like deep with the fact that every single thing that is in this factory was built in a subsequent factory.
Mm-hmm.
And all of their parts to build our machines was also built in a subsequent factory,
Yeah.
and so on, because there's a factory that machined the screws that they put into
Yeah.
their machine that machines our parts, and so on and so on.
See, that happened to me. I used to work for a heating and cooling company, and that happened to me because, I mean, when all you do is clean furnaces for 8 hours a day, you start
Yeah.
to lose your fucking mind. That's why I quit.
That's why I was done.
I woke up one morning and said, you know what? Nah, fuck this.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not cleaning furnaces today. I mean, don't get me twisted. In the HVAC industry, it was a lot of fun to like go through and figure out problems and fix things, but that was like it was very few and far between. And then when that shit did happen, it was like negative 10 degrees outside and shit was just breaking. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm on call on a Saturday and I have to go out for 12 hours on a Saturday.
Nope.
Nah.
Nah.
Fuck that.
Nah.
So I had that epiphany while I was cleaning an air conditioner. Like I'm using my impact driver to take the panels off of it, and I'm looking at it, and there's like this itty bitty little screws in there, and
Yeah.
the coil and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and I'm like, this was built by a different tool.
Yeah.
And that tool was built by a different tool.
Exactly.
And that tool was built by a different tool, and it just goes on forever. And I'm like, I sat there and I thought about it to the point where I was like, there was some motherfucker with a rock beating on something to make this tool. Like, that's how far back I went with this thing. Like
Yeah.
some Neanderthal just smashing a rock into another rock.
It's two rocks smashing
Just
together.
smashing
Like,
them together.
we're gonna build shit one day.
And then just poof, a fucking screwdriver just pops up. out of
yeah,
nowhere.
and it's if you think about any industry though, any industry, it's set up like that, and that just it's baffling.
That's wild.
That's where that's kind of technological progression. That's where that happens. But like,
I have a job, by the way. I never
in case you were curious,
I never gave you closure on that. I do have a job. I sell floors. So
I went from cleaning HVAC systems to putting things under your feet.
the flooring industry, for me, my job is really, really fun. It's probably the funnest job I've ever had.
I couldn't do it. It's too many like I've worked in retail. Fuck that noise.
No, okay. On that end of things, yes, retail is for the birds. But when the thing that tickles my fancy is when folks come in and they're like, I want to do a custom shower and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, bro, I got you. I'm going to design you this sick ass shower and you're going to love it and you're going to love me and you're going to give me all your money. And that's fun. That's the fun part. And I'm pretty outgoing and charismatic, so I get along with people pretty well.
Yeah.
You know what pisses me off about the flooring industry? Is I'm at work working on things that are way more important, like a whole house,
Yeah.
right? Doing a whole
Yeah.
brand new house. And some little old lady walks in and she wants an area rug. I'm like, bitch, go to Menards. I'm not going to custom make you an area rug.
But I wanted to get it here.
You know how much money I'm going to make on an area rug myself? I'm going to make like $5. No, go to Menards. Get out of here.
Well, yeah, and how much? Because at a flooring company like that, because the prices are drastically different.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like a legit flooring company.
Yeah.
What's an area rug? Like a normal area rug's what? Like 4 by 6 or something like that.
If you go into like a Target or whatever and go straight to their area rugs, like that's like 4 by 8, 5 by 6, 6 by 8, blah 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 blah.
They'll run you a couple $100.
You're gonna drop like $170
Yeah.
on like a 6 by 8 or whatever. When you go into a flooring store and you're like, I want this cut into an area rug, because you can cut any carpet you want to into an area rug. You can do it. You just cut it and bind it, including so material, cutting it, and getting it binded. You're looking at like $2,000.
God.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Why don't you just go to like Menards and get like a carpet remnant?
That little guy right there.
Yeah.
That little guy.
Yeah.
I spent like $80 on that. That's
See,
it.
That is normal. That makes sense to me.
But walking into a place and see what always happens is they expect it to be a couple $100, and then when you're like, yeah, it'll be about $1,800, they're like, nah, fuck that, I'm out.
Nah.
Nah.
I'm gonna just go somewhere else.
But I do love my job. It's a lot of fun. Off that soapbox, we have barely talked about flat Earth.
Oh, I know.
We just went into so many other things.
God damn it.
Flat Earth theory is stupid. fuck you. I don't care.
Well, no, I was telling you earlier before we started the podcast. My brother, we all the time make fun of flat earthers, and if you're offended that I make fun of flat earthers, you can eat a dick, because no, like, just that whole concept. Like, you have the great scientists of the world who were like, yeah, gravity exists and that's the thing, and then Earth, yep, totally round. I mean, these scientists. This is a point in time where the church controlled the government. It was basically a theocracy. And like their ideals and ideas were considered like blasphemy. They were considered blasphemy and against the church. And I mean, there's documented cases where the church like would hunt down and kill these people because they
burn them at the stake.
Yeah, because they went against the church and they fought the consensus of the church. Flat Earth is a bit different because I think in the Bible it does mention that the Earth is round. But just, science in general, science and religion have always kind of butted heads because of this. Because science is like, I'm not sure if there's a God, and church is like, no, there's a God.
There's a God.
Now go and hug this pole for a little bit while I go grab some torches.
This is where we kind of differ, because I know that you're like, God's not real. There is no God. and me over here, I'm like, I don't know, there might be a God.
See, my struggle with like religion, because I grew up very, very religious, and a lot of that is the more I delved into the science and like real world tangible things, like things that I can, because even when you go into theoretical physics and stuff that you can't physically prove, some people can say, oh, well that's faith. No, there's math. There's math that says that this should be the way it is.
Yeah.
Now, we're all the beauty of science, we're all the time learning new things and proving things wrong, and the scientific community's outlook on those topics shifts in order to accept these new ideas. There are peer reviews all the time. Papers are being published. That's the beauty of science. Now, the problem with religion is anytime there's something that conflicts with religious dogma, it's nope. That's nope. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. And that's, I think, the problem. Because there's no way. And one of the argument I hate most when it comes to science versus religion is a religious person will say, "Oh, well, you can't prove that God doesn't exist or that He does exist." It's like, well, yeah, because you're talking about like an extra dimensional being that transcends transcends space and time. Like, yeah, I don't know if there's enough math in the world that's going to prove that yes, He does or He doesn't exist, because that's kind of the basis of faith. That's where that comes from. And it's just I struggle with that for a long time because I am a man of science. So when dealing with conflicting points, it's hard to wrap your head around. So when I actually became like a legit atheist, if you wanna say that,
if you will,
I was an asshole. I was a straight dickhole. Like, you believe in God, fuck you, and your religion. And I've mellowed out a lot, and I feel like that goes hand in hand with like political views when you're in college versus political views when you get older, and stuff like that. You believe what you want to believe, but
leave me out of it.
Well, not just that. Don't completely disregard scientific evidence because it conflicts or with your viewpoint or it makes you uncomfortable.
See, the thing that bothers me so much about religion is like a recruiting project. That's what bothers me about it. Like, that's cool if that's what you believe in, but stop trying to make me believe in it too. Like, I don't.
Yeah, and but growing up in the church, that was kind of that's what's weird about because I grew up Protestant, and I'm it's different than Judaism or Buddhism or what have you. But one of the premises of Christianity, both Catholicism and I think it's Protestantism. Anyway,
being a Protestant,
is Jesus was a he was it's a missionary. It's like the first like missionary went around and with his apostles and told the good word and about the big guy in the sky that went Bill Cosby on that one. So yeah, there's this level of missionary work that as a Christian that you're supposed to do. So you're supposed to go out and tell people about, and that's cool. And, that's fine. Go and tell people about it. But if I'm like, nah, it's not for me, don't be a dick about it.
Yeah.
And be like, no, you don't understand. This is the way it is.
What trips me up on, because I cannot sit here and say that, I can't sit here and say that I'm an atheist because at the end of the day, I'm not. Because what happens to me when I'm like, why don't you come down and show me yourself? Like get like that kind of like angry, angsty kind of like, why don't you just show me? Quit being such a little scaredy puss and just show me something. Like I go outside and I look around and I'm like, intelligent design. Like it's
like, and I used to be like that too. And there's certainly a lot of things when you think about our planet, which is round.
Which is round, by the way.
It's a sphere, and it's all tilted and shit, because it's like, nah, vertical, fuck that shit.
Nah.
So,
get that dank lean.
yeah, it's really, and this is why I love space and the study of planets and shit, because the only reason for life to exist on this planet is it's so perfectly placed where it's far enough away from the sun to allow water, without it freezing, etc., etc. And it's just, I get that, because I used to be like that too, because you have, our planet has such a diversity of flora and fauna, that, I understand why people are like, oh yeah, that's intelligent design, there's just too much. But that kind of makes me believe in stuff like, aliens and extraterrestrial civilizations, because we think about how many planets are out there. Just in our galaxy alone, there is billions of planets, billions of stars in our galaxy that all potentially have a planet within the Goldilocks zone. But there's my favorite picture that NASA ever took. I think it was taken in like the 90s. They took another one recently, but it's called the Hubble Deep Field. And the Hubble Deep Field is this long exposure to let as much light into the telescope as possible. And what it captured with that long exposure was not just like stars and like billions of stars. We're talking fucking galaxies.
Yeah.
It captured
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hundreds and thousands of galaxies, which all potentially have habitable planets, etc. How can you look at that image with knowing what you know about galaxies and when they're set up, and not be like, yeah, aliens, obviously. Like there's aliens, 100%. There's no way there's not.
Why can't Earth be like a fucking side project for the guy or something?
This bitch a Nova Pangea.
Oh, Lil Dicky.
Such
a wonderful person.
But yeah, flat Earth. Just I was gonna say a minute ago. My brother delved into a little bit, and I guess that one of the theories why you can't prove flat Earth exists or can't prove it or whatever is, I guess there's this ice wall around, like fucking Game of Thrones shit. There's a big old ice wall around the planet. The wall. That when you get too close, it like wipes your memory and like
Black style.
Yeah, exactly, and deletes all of the cameras on all the pictures you took on your cell phone. And like, fine, if you're gonna believe bullshit like the Earth is flat, fine, make up whatever.
Fine.
That's the thing. It's like flat earthers don't even bother to be like, oh, this could be plausible. It's like, nah, we're just gonna take something that you can't prove at all and be like, yep, that sounds yeah, we'll just make that up. Just make up all this shit.
This sounds okay.
This sounds like people would believe it.
Humans enjoy this. Oh man.
What else we got?
We've got Pinterest mom and dating.
Oh.
Because I did write down Logan's intelligence level, but I feel like we've done a pretty good job of displaying that one.
Oh. I know too much about too much. I've seen things.
I've been places.
I've been places.
It's a Pinterest mom. That one, that one's just kind of
Well,
it's for me.
The Pinterest mom thing was just about the fact that I love Pinterest. Just for recipe, like if Pinterest wants to sponsor us, that'd be super dope.
that'd be super dope.
But moving on from Pinterest and
it's a conversation for another time.
yeah, it's just Pinterest is cool. You can check it out. I mean, sure everybody knows about Pinterest already.
If you're a female, I'm sure you've already heard of it.
Probably.
Not trying to be like misogynistic or whatever, but like let's be real.
Pinterest is pretty cool though.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. It is. I use it a lot for my work. I really,
for like designing bathrooms and
yeah,
shit.
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
when people come in and they're like, I have no idea what I want to do, I'm like, well, let's look at Pinterest.
Have you tried Pinterest?
Have you tried this? Anyway, moving out of that topic, on to dating, because I feel like we need to have this conversation.
Okay. What about dating?
How
does one date?
How does one date?
How does one
someone?
do the date?
So, like I said earlier, I'm freshly divorced. I'm back in the game. I'm clean, single, and I'm ready to mingle.
I have good hygiene. You should like me.
I have good hygiene. I don't know how to talk to women anymore. So there's this girl that I've been
There's this girl.
There's this girl that I've been spending some time with, and she's great. It's just so like when we text, when we're texting or like Facebook messaging each other, like everything is great. She's like real confident and like this is my beliefs. And then when we hang out, she's super shy, and that freaks me out. It makes me nervous, but she's nervous.
She sounds like my spirit animal.
She's nervous, which by proxy like makes me nervous. So I don't know what to do with my hands when we're hanging out. So
what do I do with my hands?
What are thumbs? I go down rabbit trails and I don't know what to do with myself. But the other night she was over and excuse me. The other night she was over and I was sitting in my captain's chair. And she was sitting in one of my little green wingbacks, and there was like this gap of like 2 feet between us. And I'm sitting there.
That's a pretty substantial distance to cross.
I know, right? And I'm thinking
a lot of empty space there.
I'm thinking, Austin, you want to hold that girl's hand?
Hell yeah.
You want to? You should reach out and grab that hand. But then I'm sitting here thinking, like, look at this distance. It's gonna be so. She's gonna catch me mid-reach.
She's gonna be like, "The fuck are you doing?"
But it's nothing serious. Like, we're just hanging out and having a good time. And the whole time I'm sitting in my captain's chair. Like, that's my go-to. Like, when I get home from work, I just put my ass right in that chair.
Yeah.
And I just chill. I just take a load off for a little bit, and then I stand up and do my thing. So, naturally, when we get home from dinner, like when I come home from dinner with her, I just sit in the chair. And when I sit in the chair, I'm like, you're an idiot. Sit on the couch so that she will sit next to you. And then you don't have that awkward gap to span.
Yeah, right.
But I've already gone too far. I'm already in the chair.
I've already committed.
I can't just sit in the chair.
We can't get up after that.
No.
Because then it's you want it to be like subtle. You don't want it to be like I'm physically moving over to you. You want it to be natural, right?
Yeah. So the other night, I'm looking at her hand, and I pick up on maybe she's the type of girl that just likes to be told things. Like, she just likes people to be like totally upfront.
Oh yeah.
So I look at her and I go, look, I really want to hold your hand, but I don't know how to span this gap. And she just started laughing, and she reached out, and I was like, this is awesome. This is great. I'm
okay with this.
If I could just tell you what I'm thinking about.
Well, the thing is, there's two schools of thought there. Conversations I've had with female friends about stuff like that, about how to like not be so fucking awkward all the time. There is this level of you do have women who are like, there's that, what's the word, there's this the old school mentality that you just you want a guy to just do something, like just make an action, make the first move, whatever. But I'm awkward as shit.
Well, and we live in a society now where like when a man tries to to do something for a
Yes.
woman, it's misogynistic.
Yeah.
Like,
So you gotta walk that line. So being, but then you also got that weird, there's the moment right before, like, that other person wants to be kissed or
Yeah.
whatever. You get that like feel.
you can feel
right?
it coming in the air tonight.
So
Cut.
Genesis reference. But no, there's you want to just, because if you're because you don't want to read the wrong cues. You don't want to
Right.
think it too much into it and be like, I'm gonna try and kiss you, but you're not into it, and then I feel like garbage, and then you feel like garbage because I feel like garbage. It's just awkward. But then if you up and ask, like, can I kiss you, then a lot of women think that's also weird. So where's that? How do you walk that line?
See, my thing is
I just want to kiss your face.
yeah, I just want to put my mouth on your mouth. Like, that's all I
I
want.
just want to smash them together.
No.
That's how humans kiss, right? You just smash face holes together repeatedly.
Don't even pucker. Just put
Just-
your mouth.
I'm gonna give you CPR while we're both conscious.
Okay, so the way that I look at life is, I guess you can look at me like a male feminist.
Well, yeah.
Like, personally, I feel like women have the exact same rights, and
Yeah.
obviously we're all humans. Like, we all have a human right. So, but like I said, like, we live in this world now where a man will make a completely innocent compliment.
Yeah.
Give a completely innocent compliment to a girl, and then he's a dick. Like,
Yeah, well, I think there's a bit of a disconnect between chivalry, which the 40s and 50s viewpoint of like courtship of that time period and things that you should and shouldn't do. I've talked to a lot of women who still like that, like guys to be chivalrous, but I've also met women who aren't into it or consider acts of chivalry to be misogynistic. And like, it's not maybe I just want to do stuff for you because I like you.
Yeah,
it's
like,
not
I wanna
because
open
you're
the-
incapable.
I want to open the door for you because I like you.
Yeah,
Like, I'll open the door for you because I like you.
Exactly.
Like, it's not this weird.
like I don't.
I want to buy you things because I like you, and I want you to know that.
I'm aware that you know how to use a doorknob.
I know that you have the intelligence level to turn. Like, but for me,
I just can't figure out this doorknob. I don't really understand.
there's a fine line to walk, and I thought, I had this thought when my do I call her an ex-wife? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to call you now. I don't know if you listen.
this
to
bit.
Like, I had this thought where I was like, I'm solid. Like, I don't have to worry about doing any of this shit. I don't have to worry about meeting people. I don't have to worry about going on awkward dates. I don't have to worry about a new first kiss.
Yes.
Like, that's and
that comfort level.
and
yeah.
then my whole world just was like, nah, you got to figure it out.
You're gonna struggle like the rest of us.
So I remember saying to a buddy, he was talking to me about girl problems or whatever, like I don't know what to do with this girl, and I'm like, just find someone and marry him, because then you're done. Like, you don't have to worry about this bullshit anymore. Just wife you up. And that's another thing we talked about Tinder. That's another thing about Tinder is, like, there are people on there that are like, I'm looking for the Jim to my Pam. I'm like, bitch, you're on Tinder.
See, here's the thing though. Tinder, while it started out as like a hookup app, it's become, because of the user base. I mean, it's become a thing where you can use it for both, as long as you kind of put that out. See, I think the thing I like about Tinder, if you want to use it to find like somebody to actually date, not just one and done kind of situation. And I think that's what's also so dangerous about online dating to begin with. As technology progresses, it doesn't allow you to meet like naturally. Like, I have no show. Like, I can't. I wouldn't say I can't. I'm really bad at hitting on women in like a bar.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because with apps like Tinder and Plenty of Fish, and it's just so easy to be like, Nope. Nope. You're
Nope.
kind
Nope.
of attractive, but you're way out of my league, but I'll give it
Yeah,
a shot.
I think so there's that idea that a computer screen will give you confidence
Yeah.
that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
I am the exact opposite.
Really?
Yes. If I can present myself in an actual physical manner
Yeah.
and go, hey, I think you're I caught you caught my eye. I think you're cute. Let me buy you a drink.
Yeah.
Like I'm that kind of guy that's confident like that. I can just walk right up to you and go, I think you're cute. Let me
You
buy you a drink.
glorious
What are you
bastard.
drinking? But when I'm on Tinder, like
Really?
I can't. I don't know what I'm doing.
See, that's
I go, hey, sup? What's shaking? Like I don't know what to do on the computer. Like
what's shaking?
what's shaking?
What's crack-a-lacking?
That's my problem. I'm very like old school, and I'm confident with talking, and not just to women. I'm good at talking to people.
Yeah.
Like in nature, outside of technology. But when you give me technology, I don't know what to do with my hands anymore. I always go back to this. My hands.
What do I do with these grabby things?
Maybe I should hold my phone. I don't know. That's my issue. So this Tinder thing's really not working out because I just like I have no problem being social in internet, but being social over the computer just drives me nuts. So that's my thing. But dating sucks.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Dating's not fun.
and I think that the older you get, the worse it is.
Oh yeah.
Because the society we live in is based on like when our parents, this is before the days of cell phones and shit. You just a lot of people, like my parents met in high school, right? So they met in high school, they started dating, and that was just how you did stuff.
That's what
back
happened.
then. Yeah, it's just what happened. So and even if you were single as an adult in like the 70s, you would go to bars, you would go to clubs, and you would meet people, or you meet friends of friends or whatever. Everybody was a lot more sociable. And as technology progressed, and we now have the ability to communicate with people across the globe, in share ideas and thoughts with people that you will never ever meet because of the distance that that you wouldn't have even interacted with pre technology and whatnot. It's made it millennials, and I hate using that term. Millennials have become kind of desensitized to or become unable
Definitely
to form normal human interaction because of that. Now, like all the people I hang out with, I met via, high school or college, or I met you at a party.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. But when you think about how few, because it's New Year's Day, by the way, so Happy New Year's.
Woo!
But no, like last night I met some of your friends that I hadn't met before, and we all hit it off because the setting was right.
Yeah.
But when you think about how many close personal friends do you think you have, as far as like, would you say it's under 10? Like true hardcore, be there for you.
Okay.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I would say somewhere to the tune of more than 5, less than 10.
Yeah, and I'm about the same way. I'm still in contact with some close friends from high school that when you see them, like no time has passed.
Yeah.
But you also don't see them that often,
Right.
Because they have their own lives and shit
Yeah.
like that.
They're in grad school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, it's not as easy to meet friends of friends, because subsequently our friends also have small groups of friends, and we all typically share the same friend group anyway. So you all hang out with I hang out with probably the same 6 people that I've hung out with since high school.
And now me.
And now
me.
And now that's just I don't normally trust people, and I think most people, when you meet them, you put on this kind
wall. You get this wall.
This facade of what you want people to view you as, versus how you really are. And it takes a while for me to trust somebody enough to kind of let that wall down to let somebody in.
Speaking of this conversation, first time that I met Logan, I did not like him. I did not like Logan. It was the setting wasn't right. You're touching on something like really really wise there with like the setting being right.
Yeah.
So like the first time I met Logan, I went to a band practice. So Logan.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Logan was in a band. I don't know. You guys are still kind of doing music.
Well, we do have. In case you guys are curious, we're technically broken up because we've all gone off and done careers and done other shit. Band's called The Desperate Rescue. We released an EP.
It's good shit.
Like a year ago. That's on Spotify. So if you look up A Desperate Rescue on Spotify, you can check out the EP if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So first time I met Logan was at a band practice for A Desperate Rescue.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. You piece of shit. So I get there. So Joey's a mutual friend that we have. I grew really close to Joey, and then Joey and I were hanging out, and he was like, "I gotta go to band practice, bro. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, I totally want to come." So I went. I met Maddie, and Maddie's the type of guy. You know, you said it really well. He's an introvert who plays the part of the extrovert.
Yeah, he got really good at faking being an extrovert in order to,
it's convincing.
Yeah, in order to facilitate better social interaction.
So Maddie and I already knew Joey. Maddie and I hit it off pretty well from the get-go, because that's just, Maddie's like, I want to include everyone.
Yeah,
everyone needs to have fun.
That's just who he is. If
J-
you're not having fun at a party, he'll make sure to point it out and make sure you're having fun.
Yeah. Jake was real quiet and awkward. That's just the kind of guy that Jake is.
That's Jake in a nutshell.
And Logan did not give me the time of day at this band practice. And it might not have been on purpose, but you might have just been in that mode where I'm here to get shit done.
I think some of that was, I didn't know you, and I've always had this thing with like, and this is previously, when somebody's introduced into the group, it always kind of ruffles my feathers a little bit, just because, you develop this rapport with people you've known for a long time. Yeah. And so when you introduce a new person into this group, it's hard to...
I don't understand the dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. So I think some of this too was like towards the end of my previous relationship too. So I'm not sure if that was the reason. Mm-hmm. I feel like that might have been my mentality, where it's like, I'm going through personal shit, and then this fucker shows up.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is this guy? That could be some of it, but continue.
So after that, I went home to my wife at the time, and I was like, so I met Joey's friends, and Matt's cool. Jake's kind of awkward. Logan's a fucking dick. Like that was like
that is the person that I choose to portray, because my thing is I'm an asshole to new people, primarily because you have to earn my friendship, which is an asshole thing to do. However, I need to make sure that if I'm gonna make time for you,
that you're worth it.
Yeah, that that when shit hits the fan, I need to know you're gonna have my back.
Yeah,
that's a lot of how I kind of grill people and vet them, if you will.
So after that, I went home to my at the time wife, and I said, blah 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 blah. Logan's a dick. That's kind of how that thing panned out.
So accurate though.
And then I went to a couple parties that Logan was at, and he started to grow on me like a cancer. Yeah.
Happens.
And then one particular party, we're at Joey's place.
Yeah, I remember
sitting out by the bonfire, and I had or Logan had like a half full bottle of Jameson.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit, because when I had first met you, because I forgot about that. Going to the band practice, when I like legit met you and interacted with you, was at that party, and I remember when I saw you, I was like, this guy looks like a fucking tool. I want nothing to do with it. And we, our mutual friend Tyler, she had a friend over, and we were going through old Facebook photos, and she mentioned the fact that you used to be an emo kid. And so she pulled up, because I still had the pictures on my Facebook. She pulled up these old pictures of me with this long emo hair, and just like in my face, just my hair in high school was just a mess.
It was a mess.
But we were talking about I used to be an emo kid, and then Austin chimes on, I also used to be an emo kid. So then he showed me pictures from him in high school, and I was like, holy shit.
I know you.
Why are we not friends right now? And then go on to the bottle of Jameson.
Logan had I try to pride myself on being an optimist. He had a half full bottle of Jameson.
Half full.
And I managed to tactically acquire a half full jug of like Minute Maid juice.
Oh, it was so gross. So bad.
So we decided that it would be wise to just pop the caps off and pour that shit.
Just mix it. We're drinking out of this fucking Minute Maid jug.
It was like a gallon of Jameson and juice.
What the thing was, it wasn't like good juice.
No, it was bad
like
juice.
It's like pink lemonade or some weird shit you don't really want like whiskey in.
Exactly.
Like, oh, fuck it, we'll just pour whiskey straight in there.
That was not fun. We bonded. I lawn chaired. We both threw up.
Yeah, it was a good time. Because I remember, then I found out you were like into rap music, and then like we started talking about Watsky and who were you? Was it Logic?
Not at that time.
Okay, who was it was a white rapper.
White rapper.
I think he's married to, or he's with Halsey now. I think they just got together.
Who is that?
He does like, it's like I don't remember his name. But he's like a fast rapper too, and that was kind of what because I found out you were in Watsky, and like nobody else in our friend group is like into Watsky like I. Everybody else tolerates it because I really like it, but like nobody else was really super into it. And
it's not G-Eazy, is it?
It was G-Eazy.
G-Eazy?
It's exactly what it was.
I fucking love
So
G-Eazy.
yeah, so I have my little Bluetooth speaker out there, and me and Austin are just drunk rapping. I thought we were dope as shit.
Yeah.
Looking back, we were probably just slurring it out. It was a mess.
I need me a Natalie Portman like Doors.
But yeah, so we after that point we just hit it off, and then everybody went back inside because it was in the summer. Everybody was outside sitting around the bonfire, and then everybody wanted to move in and play Slap the Bitch. So everybody starts to set up the cups, and then I go from inside straight into the bathroom and just proceed to hug this porcelain throne. We became friends. God, it was awful.
My wife at the time, we had to go home that night. So we get in the car. So when I refer to lawn chairing, what happens to me is I sometimes I just don't know my limit.
Yeah.
And then what happens is
on the porch
I fold in half. I literally fold in half at the waist. That's what when I say lawn chair, that's what I'm referring to, because I fold in half like a lawn chair.
And what he's leaving out the part where he just like shuts down.
I shut down.
Like it's like somebody removed all of his batteries. And he's going like power saving mode. That's the only way I know how to describe it. Because I was at a party at his house once, and we're outside smoking cigars and just, taking in some of the, because it was cooler outside. And so we're hanging out. Me and his ex-wife were just kind of shooting the shit. And I look over, and he's just slumped over. I don't even know how that was comfortable. He started to fall asleep. Yeah. And he's just sitting on the porch, and it's probably 2 a.m, folded in half.
Folded in half at the waist. Like my head's between my knees, like that extent of
I don't know how a human, like that's not a comfortable position to be in.
I don't know. I get so drunk that it's too hard to hold this portion of my body up.
My upper half just becomes way heavier than it normally is.
So we climb in the car. My wife at the time and I climb in the car, and we turn around because we parked the wrong direction that we needed to go.
Yeah.
We turn around. We hit the first stop sign, which is no shit like on the same block that the house is on, and I go, "Babe, hold up!" Pop the door open and just vomit everywhere. But anyway, so that's Logan and I's dynamic. That's our relationship. Is it just took a couple of times of getting wasted to realize that we loved each other.
But alcohol lubricates friendships
Oh,
so
definitely,
well. Though.
definitely. It makes you open up and forget about everything. I love alcohol.
I'm not an alcoholic, but I do like to partake in the alcohol.
I might have a problem, but the first step is knowing that you have a problem. Actually, currently, while we sit here, there's empty beer cans everywhere.
Beer cans
everywhere. My house is just an empty beer can.
Well, it looks like we've run out of time, so tune in next Friday for another episode of Two Dudes in a Spaceship.
Friday.
Where we're going to be talking about, this has been long enough, we'll talk about how we feel about The Last Jedi, how divided the whole Star Wars community is.
Yes.
Love it, hate it, things we like, things we didn't like, because I feel like it's been long enough. If you haven't seen it,
Get out from underneath your rock.
It's kind of your own fault at this point.
Yeah.
So that'll be it for us. I'm Logan Taylor.
Austin Merrill.
And we'll see you next week.
Whoever is generating silly musical noises on the bridge will please cease such activities immediately.
I guess that